What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more ABC, as well as a perilously placed Luca right behind my chair. But yes, their 1982 album, The Lexicon of Love. Thank you as always to Kim. And the next track is Tears Are Not Enough. So I feel like in principle, I have a sense for where this may be going, but it is fair to say tears can happen for different reasons. Maybe most commonly, certainly in songs and works of art, tears can come from sadness. What are you doing? Yes, we all hear you. Are you coming up? I think she may be... No. Changed her mind. Now she's turning around. And finally. But yes, tears can come from sadness, from being upset. And again, that is the most likely location or reason behind the tears, I would expect. But you can also cry because you're very, very happy. You can cry because you are inspired or in awe of something. But yeah, tears not being enough, even if it is specifically melancholic tears, I could see that happening in two different directions, which is to say tears might not be enough to change anything. They might not be enough to cause someone to alter their attitude or to make a difference in terms of whatever the situation is, but also it could be internal, like tears are not enough to convey my feeling or the depth of my sadness and so on. They're just the most outward and physical manifestation of this more amorphous and or inarticulate sensation or feeling that I have. So yeah, again, even if it is specifically sad tears, I feel like this could go a couple different ways, and obviously it might not relate to anything I just said. So let's give it a listen. This is ABC. The track is Tears Are Not Enough. I suppose there is an alternative possibility that it's Tears, but I'm guessing it is in fact Tears. But yes, Tears Are Not Enough by ABC from their Lexicon of Love album 82.
You can win. We all make great mistakes. That says that boy meets girl. Girl meets boy. A blueprint that says that the boy meets the girl. Picture in a magazine. Yes, you've shown your feelings. Yes, you've shown your tongue. Set things worth believing. Tears are not enough. Tears are not enough.
So much going on, and like specifically what stood out to me sonically is the blending of flavors. So right from the outset, I was like, wow, this has a bit of a disco feel to it, a bit of a like late 70s, very early 80s disco vibe. And as it kept going on, it was like, oh, okay, but it's sort of blending that with a bit of this like maybe funk infused early 80s like new wave. Like it reminded me a bit of like some of the funkier 80s Duran Duran tunes, and that it had this pop and bass and, you know, some brass flourishes, but also a bit of this like, you know, synth pop or like new wave type of feel to it. And then suddenly it goes into this interlude which has this Baroque harpsichord as basso continuo like segment, which was maybe my favorite part of the whole tune, in part because it was so surprising and unexpected. But yeah, definitely like a lot going on sonically in terms of the individual ingredients. Those brass flares really did stand out. Obviously the harpsichord was an incredible moment. And yeah, so the feeling, or the narrative at play, which is seemingly more like a snapshot in time, it does sound like tears aren't enough to change things. It reminds me of, oh, it's like this old Motown, or not Motown, almost like this old, you know, rhythm and blues, meaning not like 90s R&B, but like 50s like rock and roll rhythm and blues. It's a Big Joe Turner. There's a line in, yeah, it's like Honey Hush, and there's a line in it, turn off the waterworks, baby, they don't move me anymore. That seems to be what he's saying here. The idea that like tears aren't going to change anything. They're not enough. Like, I've gotten a sense that I don't want to be part of this. I don't love you anymore, and, you know, no outward show of emotion is going to melt the ice of my feeling now, or is going to, you know, make me try to become conciliatory or try to reconcile with you in that way. So it sounds like he's taking a stand. I can't tell. Like, at first I thought it was literally like, because he's saying like, oh, you know, boy meets girl is how they usually say it, but girl meets boy. So it sounds like he's saying like it didn't play out the way the stereotype or the like typical, you know, motif, like cultural idea or paradigm is supposed to. But then like I was thinking that he's essentially like putting the blame on her, saying like the reason he's pulling back, the reason he's unmoved by any show of emotion is because, you know, she did him wrong, or, you know, she didn't give him what he needed. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm hearing that right, but as far as I can tell, the narrator is indeed saying no show of sadness or, you know, physical manifestation of your melancholy is going to alter. Like, they're not enough to change this. They're not enough to make me reconsider the line that I'm drawing and the stand that I've taken. So, yeah, let me know if I'm off base on that, but that seemed to be the emotional interpersonal situation being described here. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It sounded, again, a bit like late 70s in its vibes. It felt a bit less like electronic synth pop compared to a couple of the previous tunes, though again, with a bit of that like new wave synth pop sound, but a bit more like natural instrument, both with the, you know, the bass kind of grooving away very richly and powerfully, and those brass flares, which, you know, again, they had a bit of that like funk to them. So a really interesting one sonically, and that middle Baroque section with the harpsichord in particular. And yes, ultimately, I know people are saying this is a really well-crafted album, and, you know, there's some variety, and I'm definitely picking up on that. So once again, shout out to Kim for sharing, and as well as those who had patience, because I reacted to the first track from this, or I don't know if it was the first track in the album. In fact, let me check now. Since we're still on camera, let me just check on YouTube Studio very quickly. Okay, yeah, so the first track of theirs I reacted to was All My Heart. Was that the... No, it's not the first track in the album. It's the 8th track in the album. But then I did jump back to the beginning. That's right. So, yeah, ultimately, it's still a very small sample size. I've only heard 4 of their tunes overall, but, you know, already I've heard some different sounds, some different stylings, and a lot of production quality. So, yeah, and indeed, in that regard, shout out to Joseph. I think he was mentioning this is it a Trevor Horn produced album? Suddenly I'm second guessing everything, but give me one moment just to confirm that. I don't see that to be the case. Who's the producer here? Oh, it is Trevor Horn. Okay, yeah, so yes. My memory isn't always terrible, I guess is the underlying point here. So yeah, again, I have a tribute DVD, Slaves to the Rhythm, is that what it is? That Joseph sent a while back. I still haven't done a watch along for it, but I have not forgotten that, and I will get to it. Maybe we'll even do it at the end of this album. That would seem appropriate. So yeah, shout out to Kim, shout out to Joseph, shout out to others commenting on this album so far. Shout out to Luca, who is very busy grooming herself, and I will see you next time. Peace.